Welcome to the Foster Kid Files. In this episode, I introduce Amber. Amber and I used to live together in a group home way back in the day called Maryvale, and Maryvale was a group home for girls. It is no longer a group home for girls. They do other amazing community service work, and maybe I'll make a separate video about what Maryvale used to be compared to what they have become. For now, if you enjoy natural flowing conversations and would like to hear Amber's story, then you will really enjoy this episode. So without further ado, here she is. All right, please introduce yourself, your name, your age if you want, and anything else you want to add about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Amber Greenwald, and I am 50 years old. Oh gosh, that's hard to say. Yeah, so, and I live in Ohio, but I'm a native Californian, but
Mhm.
I've been here for 26 years now. Yeah.
Ohio, okay.
Yeah.
All right. It shouldn't be hard to say you're 50. I will
Oh,
volunteer my age. I'm 49 and I will be 50 on Christmas.
oh, I forgot you were a Christmas baby.
Exactly. I don't know. I think there's a wisdom that comes with being 50 years old. Don't you think?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I feel like I have wisdom, sometimes I'm not
Oh,
so sure.
that's very humble and honest of you. Aside from the hot flashes, it's okay,
Right?
right?
Isn't that the truth?
You live in Ohio, you're a native Californian. How old were you when you entered the system, and how old were you when you left?
So, I was actually 14 when I was put in foster care, and then when I was actually put in Maryvale, I was 15. So, but I entered the system at 14.
And when you left?
So I was almost 18, not quite. So I was about just shy of 18. So 17 and a half, a little over. Yeah.
Okay. And was Maryville your first placement?
No, no. Actually, these people let me go live with my boyfriend and his mom.
Wow.
What were
Okay.
they thinking? Yeah.
And it didn't
Yeah.
it wasn't
Oh
working out.
gosh, no, that was a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a very volatile relationship in the first place, and she had severe mental issues, and God love her. She was a dear person in my life, but she just
Mhm.
really had some real hard issues. And I loved her family. So I still love her family so much. But her son and I, we just were like oil and, and water. We
Yeah,
did
I mean,
not.
so young too.
Yeah.
When you went to Maryville, you went straight to St. Cecilia's, was it?
No, I was in
Catherine.
St. Catherine's first. Uh-huh. Yep. And I was there for almost I want to say like 9 months before almost a year before I got to go to St. Cecilia's.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Were you in the downstairs bedroom, one of the downstairs bedrooms?
I did not get to go there first. I
Okay.
was sharing a room with Edie and Carla,
Oh, I
who
forgot about Edie. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Oh, how could you forget about Miss Edie? I love her so much. I am still friends with her. And I just found out Carla passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did not know that. I just found out last week, actually, reading one of the staff's posts on Facebook.
Mhm.
But yeah, I shared a room with them.
And explain to everybody what we mean by downstairs bedrooms.
Yeah,
What's the
so
difference?
the downstairs bedrooms was almost like you got your own room. So I actually shared a room with your sister. However, it was like I had my own room. There was like an alcove between us. So had there been
Mhm.
a door, it would have been my own room. But we had to share a bathroom, so I had to walk through her room to get to the bathroom. But it was like an independent living
Mhm.
bedroom. And so if you got to go to the downstairs bedrooms in that group, then it meant that you were like I guess more responsible. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I remember it being that way because I never got to go.
I don't know if it was because of that, but probably more because we were out of room down there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
There were maybe 2 or 3 bedrooms, not very many downstairs.
No, there was not very many. I think there was 3 because I think the other one
Yeah.
was like a library.
It was. It
Yeah.
was. I remember that library very well. It was very comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me one of your happiest memories during this time.
Oh my gosh. I tried to think about that. I think that my happiest memory was actually going into Maryvale. The day that I got to go there, and was placed there. And Sister Joanne Laviolette showed me around and told me that she was like the birthday nun, the happy Easter nun, the Merry Christmas nun, and told me about the grand Christmas parties that we would have with the celebrities. And I was just ecstatic. I couldn't be more happy. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's so
think that was
funny.
it.
I did that interview with Paula, and she said the same thing.
Did
And I
she?
think that about Sister Joanne, and I think because Sister Joanne had a magic to her.
Oh, yeah.
She And I, unfortunately, didn't get a tour by Sister Joanne. I don't remember
Oh,
who gave me the tour, but I wish I did because unlike you and Paula, I was terrified
oh
to
no.
go, terrified to live with a bunch of girls. That's like forever camp.
Okay, so I had insider knowledge. I had a best friend and his
Mhm.
mother had lived there in
Mm.
the I think 70s. And so she knew the nuns. And she
Mhm.
told me all about Sister Mary Vincent and playing like tricks on her when they were actually the dorm mothers. And so I was quite excited to go live there. And so when they accepted me to go there, I was like raring to go because I really needed out of the situation that I was in.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was going to be like to live with 85 other girls, but I just knew that it was going to be better than where I was.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right, exactly. And in retrospect, it is such or was such it's no longer, by the way. Maryville isn't what it
No.
exists, but for a different purpose. Um, what has it was an amazing resource.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tell me one of the scariest or challenging or difficult moments during this time and how you overcame it. What within you helped you cope?
Yeah. So, I don't know if you know this or not, but a month after I got there, a day before a month was
Mhm.
over, you're supposed to be able to visit your family.
Mhm.
And my mother died. Um,
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
yeah. So, and then, so my boyfriend's sister came and got me out for a visit so that I could go home and deal with that. And
Mhm.
I was out for a few days and then they brought me back. And then 2 weeks later, my stepdad died of cancer. The only
Wow.
father I had ever known in my life. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, my bio father had left me when I was 2, so I knew I had one somewhere, but not this was my only dad, other than my grandpa who died when I was 5. So um and so that was very tough because I was supposed to get a visit, not a funeral. um
So it was unexpected.
oh, so unexpected. I did not expect that. My mom was only 40 when it
Mhm,
happened. I was expecting my stepdad to pass, but
mhm,
not that soon.
mhm.
And I certainly wasn't expecting my mom to go. But
Yeah.
how I got through that
Mhm,
was Jesus, obviously, in my life is the most important thing. And the nuns knew that. Sister Joanne specifically rallied around me, and she got a special mass for me. Um,
mhm,
and she had the other nuns come together, and we just had, she brought me to the church and had a special mass said for me and my family when I got back. And I can't tell you how much I appreciated that. I just really needed that. Actually, I converted to Catholicism later on, probably because of that. I'm no longer
yes.
Catholic, but I was
Yeah.
for quite a while. While I was there, I certainly was, because they were so dear and so sweet and just so loving. So yeah, I just
That
really
is the
needed that.
village. It's the
Yeah,
village that you
right?
needed.
Yeah, I really did. Yeah, I did. I needed that. And they were my family at the time. And because mine was gone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have
Um
siblings?
I have one half sibling that I was raised with. I have many half siblings that I was not raised with.
Mhm,
And I had only met a couple of times.
mhm,
And we're all spread out, um, all over the place. But my half sibling that I was raised with, she was with my mom when she passed. She lived, still at home. She was 7 years older than me. So she didn't get
mhm.
put in foster care. And
Right.
so yeah, she had to go through all this by herself on the other end, so she didn't have like all those. Actually, she lives right up the street from me.
Oh,
I
that's
take
nice.
Yeah,
That's
well, I take
nice.
care of her. She she lives in a house that I own up the road because she's disabled. So
Okay.
yeah, but that's another story for you don't have that kind of time.
No,
But
but it's
yeah.
it's who you are, and it's, part of your story, so it's
Yeah.
important to hear
Yeah.
exactly. And as you're talking, I could relate to so much. For example, my mom didn't pass until 2013. Um,
Mm.
but I do remember, and it was also unexpected. And I was in Switzerland at the time. We were living in Switzerland. And when you're living so far away, it's very difficult. But I can't imagine losing her at such a young, vulnerable time, like you. Like, so as you were telling me that, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you were at Maryvale because they have that amazing resource of Sister Joanne and her club.
Right?
And they all rallied around you, and she knew exactly what to do.
Yeah. I was, that was great, to have that. And
Also,
then
Mary. Mhm.
and then a year after that, my grandma who raised me died, while I was in there. So it was
Mm,
just like I lost
one after
almost
the
my whole
other.
family, that I was raised with. The only one left, it was my sister that I was raised with. So
Mhm.
yeah, so she's like my anchor person. She's last that, her and I are, the last ones. So
Right.
yeah, there's no way that I'll let her out of my sight now. So
Absolutely. I
yeah.
know what you mean. My sisters are thousands and thousands of miles away, so you're very lucky that she's so close to you. It's
Yeah,
nice.
well, she was, thousands of miles away, but I brought her back here because
Oh,
well, lots of reasons, but yeah, so but I reeled her in.
yeah.
So
Good for
now she's
you.
stuck here.
Yeah. One good thing that Maryville had too was they had in-house counseling. I bet that helped immensely too for
Yeah,
you. Did it?
it did. I had Catherine Swain, and she was a remarkable woman.
Mhm.
It's when I learned that counseling was more of a they just sit and listen and
Mhm.
have you figure out life than more of giving you,
Yeah.
a lot back in return. But, like, for example, when, I was dealing with grandma passing away, I had asked her, "Is there any way that somebody could take me to, like, my grandma's, old folks' home so, like, I could visit her?"
Mhm.
Because this was, like, my actual mom person, like, my mom, and me, we were close, she always lived nearby, but, my grandma's the one that raised me. And
Mhm.
so, I really needed visits with grandma. And Catherine took me and dropped me off there and let me stay there for an hour and,
Oh,
brought
that's
me
nice.
back to, yeah, it was really, she was so supportive. But also, um, I was trying to get out of Maryville. Like you do when you were in foster care, right? And so, like, I was having her contact my grandma's sisters in Ohio, trying to get them to take me. And I could only get a hold of the one, and she wouldn't take me. Because I guess she had her own issues, health wise. So she couldn't. But, I, she's just, she would do whatever she could for a person to
Yeah.
support them. And I just, that meant so much. And it taught me so much.
I don't remember her at all. I had Deborah. I don't wanna say her last name, but I had Deborah.
Yeah, I
And I
remember her.
remember my sisters had, an Asian man. I don't remember his
Oh, I
name.
remember him. Yeah, Edie had him. Yep.
He was really good too.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't remember the one that you mentioned, but I'm sure they were all fantastic,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what a great resource for those kids, for
Right.
us back
Yeah.
then. So
Yeah.
who did you Mhm.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, go on, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it was I feel like having the on-site therapy was so important so that we didn't have to like waste time leaving a premises and having to transport ourselves back when we had so much going on and so much, like, you miss so much school when you're in trauma, and you miss so much school when you're just in foster care in general.
Mhm.
And it was good to not have to miss any more than you had to.
They
It
eased
just,
the sessions right into your schedule
yeah,
after
yeah.
we would just walk to therapy sessions in our slippers.
Yeah, everything
Go
was
through the
so
double doors.
convenient.
It's
In
so cool.
school, I went to school there too, because I didn't
Mhm.
have to. They offered me to go off campus, and I just, my life was so rough at the time that I just felt like, no, no, I'm just gonna take the easy route and just
Yeah.
go on campus. And they did not make it easy for me while I was there. They tailored everything to where you were. And
Mhm.
so, Mr. C and I'll call her Lovey. They really it met you where you were,
Yeah.
so
It was
yeah,
a they were absolutely right. They, optimized it for your level, which is
yeah,
a beautiful thing. What a
yeah,
beautiful resource because public schools don't I mean, I'm sure they try, but their resources are really limited.
yeah,
Public schools, but, Maryvale I don't know, is Maryvale at the time was funded, by
Mark
members.
Keppel. It was also funded by Mark Keppel because it was part of the, school district.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, but it was also subsidized, you're right, by,
Yeah,
fundraising, so, yeah.
exactly. It's interesting, when I was a kid there, I never thought about all the resources available to us and where they got it from. It was just there for
Yeah.
whatever. But now
Well,
as an adult. Mhm,
I was a temporary at Southern California Edison for a while, and they had Maryvale, or not Maryvale specifically, but they had the people that funded Maryvale. One of the people that funded Maryvale
mhm.
was one of their outreaches. And so Maryvale was at one of the volunteer fairs. And so I got to go out there to one of the volunteer fairs and like be like the face of Maryvale one time.
Cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Um, like the poster child for Maryvale.
Right.
As to raise money for them.
So let's now flash forward in time and think about now, because um, the reason why I'm interested in doing this podcast is because I feel like every child that goes through the foster care system is a survivor.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, even if you work at McDonald's, or if you're a lawyer, you survived, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to hear what people have made of themselves, what has become of you. So, Amber, what have you done with your life? What do you do for a living?
So I have been in insurance since I was about 19 years old. I work now for Medicare Advantage plan, and I have been there for 26 years. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Health insurance.
Health insurance. Yep.
Okay. In Germany, we have so many insurances. If you have a dog, you must have insurance for the dog. You have to have property insurance. You have to have, I don't know, you name it, any type
Yeah.
of insurance. So when you said insurance, I was like, which one?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Health
Yep.
insurance. But
Yes.
that's really admirable that you have stayed in the same industry for so many years.
I believe that's one of those quirks that you get from being in the system as you look for stability, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
right, exactly. I mean, I think it's a fork in the road, right? Like, I personally love stability. I don't think it's boring at all.
No.
I've had enough adventure, thank you
Yep.
very much.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's nice to hear, and you were able to grow your role, with your company, yeah, and
Yeah.
just stick with them. Was this all in Ohio, or did you start
Yeah.
in
So,
California?
well, I started with the reinsurance company in California, and then my husband and I decided that we wanted to start a family.
Mhm.
And so, but we did not want to do that in California.
Why?
Growing up in gangland,
I
we had
see.
had enough,
Yeah.
and we just did not feel like California is conducive to raising children. And so, I had brought him back to Maryvale several times for visits. I
Mhm.
loved to visit Maryvale. I loved to visit the staff and the nuns. Um, when I became Catholic there, um, one of the sisters had become my godmother, and
Mm.
she had brought me into the convent and done my catechism there. And she was just a beautiful soul. Anyways, I used to love to go there to visit. And Sister Mary, Genevieve Munier. I don't know if you remember her, but
Eh,
she would be the one that would
yes.
walk around doing the rosary and walk the dog.
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
now that you mention it.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was so awesome. Such a sweet, sweet lady. Anyways, she I just loved visiting her. I loved visiting everyone. So it was like
Mhm.
going home,
Mhm.
I mean, it was
Mhm.
home, right? For so long. And so I would take him a couple times, and he just fell in love with the idea that we would one day adopt a child, a girl. He wanted to adopt a little girl. And because he wasn't interested in babies, he just thought the idea of diapers was gross. And
He wanted to skip to the
he
childhood part
did. He
of
wanted
it.
to skip straight to playtime and move along to school years. He just was not interested in the whole, like, he's like, what do you do with a baby? You can't play with a baby.
That's
So,
interesting. Yeah. Not a lot of people are willing to adopt. Um, I mean, it's, like most people want their own biological children,
right.
so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
remarkable to hear this.
Well, when you look back at genetics and you think to yourself, well, genetics in our family are not so great. And perhaps you might not want to continue that streak.
Okay.
um, and so, his was more health and stuff, and mine was
Mm,
more, mental health and stuff.
mhm,
And we just sort of looked at that and went,
mhm,
maybe let's raise other people's kids that have lost them and, give them a fair shake in life, right? Well, we were just going to do one child, right? But then once you start taking children, it just doesn't pan out like that. Like, and God has other plans. It just doesn't start like that. You have a plan, and then God has a different plan, and he just laughs at you. And so like we got licensed back here once we moved back here.
mhm.
And it was about a year later and we got our call. And they were like, "So we have a little boy, and we were wondering if you're interested." And I was like, "Okay, that's not what we asked for." Like there's a menu, right?
Right, right, right. I Is this to foster or to adopt or
To
foster to
foster
adopt?
to adopt. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, when you do foster to adopt, you think that you're just like, putting your application in and you're just going to like take a child who is, ready, right?
Mhm.
Mm-mm. No, so they set you up. The system is very like seedy. There's so many flaws. It's so broken, right? They play the foster parents, they play the regular parents, the bio parents. It's just it's a broken system. I mean, we know that, right?
Yes, yes.
And there's
Yeah,
so much wrong with it, and it just
yeah.
anyways, so the agency calls, and instead of calling us, with a school age girl, they call us with a
Mhm.
school age boy. And I call my husband and I say, so they don't have a little girl, they have a little boy. Are you interested? And he goes, well, that's not what we asked for." I go, I
Yeah.
know, but maybe pray about it because sometimes God has different ideas.
Yeah.
And so what happens is we decide to open our heart and our home, and he comes in, and then we fall in love with him, and he immediately calls us mom and dad,
Oh, how
and we
old?
are
How old was he?
seven,
Okay.
and he's adorable. And he like is the next day, he's like watching Power Rangers, and he's talking to the TV. I'm watching, I'm observing, and he's like talking to his brother who isn't there.
Oh,
His brother got
wow.
placed in another place.
Oh my goodness.
And
Ugh,
my heart is breaking. And so I like start digging into where's his brother. And I start talking to my husband. We got to find his brother. We got to put him and his brother back together. Well, then
yeah.
I find out he's got two sisters.
Oh my goodness.
And then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, well, we gotta like put this family back together. This is not
Oh
fair.
my goodness.
I don't care if they're like in our home temporarily or if they're here for the rest of their life. This is not okay. This little boy needs his sisters and his brothers, and they got to be
Yeah.
together. This is not okay. I don't care what God's using us for. Whatever it is, we got to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so we wind up with his brother for like a year, and him and his brother, we wound up with them. It was a long haul, but we wound up with them. And then his sister's foster parents retire, and we find out they live not even 2 miles from us. Like,
Crazy.
it was all like providence, like it all was supposed to happen that way.
But
And so,
also, somebody must have known that.
oh, I mean, God,
I mean because, like, wouldn't you think if you're a social worker or somebody behind the scenes,
oh, well,
I mean,
yeah,
not
his
even
county
behind the
worker knew.
scenes,
Yeah,
wouldn't
the
wouldn't
county worker knew because I mean, but the county worker, you have to understand, like, the county worker is from a county, like a whole county over. These kids are in
Mhm,
a separate county. These kids are, first of all, the one brother was in Southern Ohio. He was not even in Northeast Ohio where we live. He was placed all the way in Southern Ohio. We had to go get him out of Southern Ohio. So
mhm,
the sisters were 2 miles over, but they all came from a county over. Like,
mhm,
none
mhm.
of this was like,
It's just
yeah.
broken communication,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I just know because my 2 sisters, we were all extremely close,
Yeah.
and we had to advocate as kids to be close together.
Isn't that
So,
ridiculous?
otherwise, they're so impacted,
Yeah.
and there's so little resources. I think that's a big part of it. It's not that their
Yes.
heart maybe isn't in the right place, but, you as a child, and what child knows how to advocate for
They
themselves?
don't. They're scared and they don't know where they're at and they don't know what their rights are.
Yeah.
That's just, it's ridiculous. You're absolutely right. And if you don't, and the thing is then who's listening?
Yeah.
Because how many times did we call our county worker? They don't return calls, right? I mean, I don't know
Mhm.
about back here, they listen more. In Ohio, I've learned that the county workers here, they do call back. But I remember in Los Angeles, they did not call back. Their caseloads are, I can't imagine what they are
I
in Los
know.
Angeles.
Yeah.
But back here, their caseloads are no joke either. But
Mhm.
they have people that they have to answer to back here. So it's a little
Mhm.
bit more organized. But
Mhm.
Los Angeles is, I cannot even imagine. They are off the charts.
Yeah. There's a lot of the population is immense
Right.
too.
And yeah,
Yeah.
especially with you have the southern border, so we had like, imagine we had kids, coming from El Salvador and,
Mhm. Right.
Honduras and
Right.
Mexico, all in our group home. So
Yeah.
imagine,
Yeah.
the caseloads. I
Yep.
mean,
They're overwhelmed.
ridiculous.
They're
Yeah,
overwhelmed.
I
I
cannot.
when I no longer, well, I might go back into nursing, but when I was actively nursing in California, it's the same thing. The nurse to patient ratio, they have a standard in the state of California, but they never stick to it because of the lack of staff.
Yeah.
And it's just this pervasive problem in
Yeah.
California. That's why when I talk about back home
Hmm.
here, I never say the US. I'm only speaking for California because I don't know how it's like in Ohio. I don't know how it's like in
Yeah.
other states, but I do know how it is in
It's a whole
California.
nother country. I mean,
Yeah.
it is an
Yeah.
island unto itself. It is
It
not
really
the
is.
same. I had no idea what life was truly supposed to be like until I got here. In Ohio. I had no
Yeah.
idea what I tolerated in my life
Right?
until I got here. So yeah. It's amazing. I
Absolutely.
wish people in California could see. the real picture of what they are tolerating and what life could actually be like,
Yep.
if they didn't tolerate everything that they're tolerating. But I understand why we did it. And, it's because we had big empathy, right? So, yeah. But with
Exactly.
big empathy comes big responsibility.
Yes. So, on to the next question. What strange quirks do you have to this day due to your own foster care experience and having this challenge of being on the other side of foster mom, adoptive mom? What quirks do you
Yeah.
have?
So, I'm a rule follower. I think that,
Nice.
yeah, being institutionalized, made
Mhm.
me follow rules. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not, right? Um, and That's a quirk because I don't know that everybody's a rule follower. Um, a matter of fact, I would say not everybody's a rule follower. And I am a rule maker. In my home, we had so
Good.
many rules that the kids had to follow. I ran it like a lot like Maryvale.
Mhm.
I had to step out of my trauma brain, and the home that I was raised in,
Mhm.
and mirror it after something that went right in my life. And what went right in my life was Maryvale. When I was raising
Yeah.
my kids, that's what I mirrored it after. And so as I'm watching my grandkids get raised by, my prior foster children, who are now my adoptive children, I watch them breaking all those rules and being completely normal families. And I love that for them, that they're able to do that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
eh, I wish that I could have done that, but we had to be more careful,
Mhm.
because of the types of children that we brought into our home and the
Yes.
types of trauma that they brought with them. So,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. And I think, rules for kids are so important in that context.
Yeah.
I do remember being at Maryvale and being resentful of all the rules. Like, one rule
Yeah.
I always thought was so silly was, but not now, but back then I thought it was silly, was you had to keep your slippers by your bed on the floor in a certain direction in case of fire. It was for safety.
Yeah. Or
And I
earthquake.
Right.
You never were in Cali.
Right.
You never
And
knew.
I used to get docked points because, I would forget, or maybe when Slipper was across the room. And I'm like, "Come on, give me a break. We're not gonna have a fire or an earthquake." But I get it now. It's not about me personally. It's
Yeah.
about the whole picture, and having those rules in place, especially in an institution like Maryvale,
Yeah. Could
where
you
it
imagine being responsible for all those little lives?
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
exactly. So I think in your context, or in the context of having foster children, and combining them, I don't know, you mentioned that family. I don't
Yeah.
know if you had
Yeah.
others.
Yes. Many others that we
Yeah,
wound up
you
collecting.
must have rules.
Yes. Big rules, very big rules because, yeah.
I really admire that you recognized how important that was and you mirrored a system that you knew worked because it worked
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, I didn't want to, you learn. I mean, when you go to foster parent training, they teach you, that if you've grown up in a bad environment, that you often will look back to whatever you grew up with, and
Mhm,
that's what you knew. And
mhm.
so when I was looking back, I definitely didn't want to look back to what I was raised in. I wanted to look back to what I was taught
Yeah.
to be raised in, if that makes sense. Yeah. So,
It makes absolute sense,
yeah.
and it shows that you're very, very reflective and you apply What works.
Yeah, you had to look at what worked. And you had to be adaptable. And I think that's another quirk
Mm,
that I picked up on, is being adaptable. And I think that's for even
mhm,
my foster children that I raised, is they're very adaptable. I think anybody that's in a trauma situation winds up being adaptable. Um, I think all children
mhm.
are
We
adaptable, but
have
I
to.
think that you wind up being, it's almost a superpower is to be adaptable to any
Exactly.
situation. Yeah.
That was my next question. I was going to ask you what your superpower is because we all have at least one strong superpower in us. So, would you say that's yours?
I would say probably adaptability and pattern recognition.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
is a big
This.
one. Yeah.
I love it. Can you
Yeah.
give an example of the pattern recognition?
I work with spreadsheets a lot, so a lot of mine, I will see, in spreadsheets.
Mhm.
I will pick up on things that I'm seeing a pattern in at work, where things are happening. And so I will point it out if I
Mhm.
feel like there's an issue, and then we can go in and correct something that we think might be an issue. That's just one thing. I think also social pattern recognition as well, in
Mhm.
just life in general. You see where people have a specific trait, and you say to yourself, I have seen that trait over and over again,
Yeah.
in this kind of a personality. And so when it rears its head, it's usually this type of a personality. And
Mhm.
in that personality, you have X, Y, and Z issues or non issues. I feel like you can almost flag people to see how they're going to act or react in certain social situations. For some of my kids, I've been able to figure out if they're going to have, specific, for example, autism,
Mhm.
or developmental disabilities, and then go get them tested to verify those things. And I do have several kids that have like ADHD or
Mhm.
autism, and we had to go get them tested, of course, to verify those things. But sure enough, that they
Yeah.
did have those things. So yeah.
And that superpower comes from, would you say, being exposed to so many personality types
Mhm. Yeah,
at one
over and
time?
over. Yeah. And living with
Because
them.
it's funny, like people say everybody's unique, and that's true. Every human being is unique, but when you live with a bunch of people, like in a setting like Maryvale or a group home, you do see that these characters, there's certain subset of character, like character
Mhm.
A, B, C, D, and your mind
Yes.
is able to slot them.
Yeah, like, oh, this person definitely has bipolar disorder. I've seen that before. Oh, that
Mhm.
person has OCD. I have definitely seen that before. Yes, yes.
And it's
Yes.
it's your survival mechanism too, to be able to try to recognize these characters, I would say, because you grow like antenna,
Yeah,
like you're like, it's like a sixth sense,
like a hypervigilance, because you
Yeah.
needed to know in order to protect yourself
Mhm.
from anything getting out of hand. I feel like is what has happened there. From because there have been situations that you wind up in, and you find that you have had to protect your either your physical self or your mental
Mhm.
self or whatever has been the issue from
Mhm.
these types of personalities or issues.
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
and for example, too, if you've been there year after year after year, how long were you there? 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, almost 3 years. almost 3 years.
Right,
Yeah.
and so you saw new girls come in,
Yeah.
and so it was important in that case too to say to yourself, "Okay, I'm gonna be friendly to them and welcoming because I know what they're feeling right now."
Yep. Hmm.
There's also a sort of self-protection as well,
Yeah.
right? And that
Yeah.
stays with you until adulthood when you meet new colleagues at work. Um, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a huge benefit, a good side effect of living in that
Oh,
environment.
yeah, yeah, and I think that not only that, but that's when the adaptability comes in and
Mhm.
the empathy comes in because it's not only that
Mhm.
we have learned to, um, uh, see, these things before they come at us, but also how to, interact and, um, sort of, uh,
Handle it.
yeah, handle and make sure that we're not inciting any issues or uh making any further issues, and also giving encouragement and um not not saying the wrong thing, and but also saying things that may help and not hinder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. You want to be able to engage with new
Yeah.
people in such a way that is beneficial on both sides.
Right.
Exactly, and that I think is an absolute superpower.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing. I don't
Mhm.
think that, when you're interacting with people that it should just be judgment. I think it should also be a good back and forth, a good give and take. So everybody should benefit, right? So
Mhm.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's like ping pong, you
Right.
know? Yeah. It's a game.
Pong.
It's
Showing our age, pong.
a pong. What is it called these days?
I don't know, but it was pong back in Atari land.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So Amber, if you could redo your past, would you? Why or why not?
No. No, I wouldn't change a thing. Mm-mm. No, because what if one um you've heard of the butterfly effect?
Yeah,
Where just
absolutely.
a butterfly wing, hitting the wind has changed something. No, because what if
Mhm.
one of my children wouldn't have come into my life? What if my
Mhm.
husband wouldn't have come into my life? What if, for example, I'm a children's pastor right now. What if I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity to teach Jesus to the children at church? What if I wouldn't have, any of the opportunities that I've gotten? What if I wouldn't have gotten the job that I've had for the last 26 years? Um, no, I would go through it all again. Um, I mean, even if it's just for to see, my family one more time, you know,
Mhm.
any of that. Yeah.
Mhm. That's a
So
lovely
no.
response. That's lovely.
Thanks.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to that question. Everybody
No.
is different, but I
Yeah.
am the same opinion as you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good.
And I loved
And
Maryvale. I still
there was
love
nothing not to
every one
like.
of those people. I
Yeah.
I absolutely loved every one of those staff members. I loved
Mhm.
every one of those girls that was my foster sisters,
Mhm.
and I know that they know that. And we were just so spoiled.
We were spoiled.
We were so spoiled. Uh, and
We were.
it
We were
was
the
just so
lucky
awesome.
ones.
We were so lucky. Like, I hear such horror
I
stories,
know.
even from my own foster kids coming from other foster homes.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
gosh, the stories I've heard. from sitting in foster trainings.
I know.
I don't like other foster parents sometimes, and I'm sorry to say that out loud. That's a shameful thing to say, but like like Maryville never prevented us from taking our own stuff with us when we left. Never, never.
Yeah.
And they never prevented us from knowing our rights. I have heard other I have sat in other foster parent trainings where people have said, "I'm not letting them take that bicycle. I bought that for them." It just like
Yeah.
my heart not only breaks, but at the same time, my anger takes over. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
It's
because
very
I was
emotional.
that foster kid. You're talking about
Yes.
me, sir.
Yes.
So, no.
Well, I will say this is I have been in three different foster homes before Maryville, and not one foster home was as great as Maryville. And I could
No.
relate to everything you're saying, everything that you're saying. So it's okay to have your opinion. It's okay. It's your opinion.
It's probably not very
It doesn't
Christian
come
of
out
me,
of
but
nowhere.
I'll ask forgiveness. But oh my goodness, I have just.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that one's a rough one.
I'm reading this book right now. It's called I'll see I don't know if you could see it. It's called Troubled.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
No.
It's by Rob Henderson. It takes place in Southern California.
Oh.
And right now I'm in the middle of it. And he is, I think, on his second or third foster home. And it's hard to read because I could relate to everything. So yeah, I mean it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. Yeah. The people that
Mm,
are okay. So now there are kids in the system today. There are foster kids in the system today. When we were aging out,
yeah.
I mean, I remember Sister Joanne visiting me when I moved to San Francisco, and she gave me $200, which back then was so much money, and it
Right?
helped so much, and she didn't have to,
No.
right? But basically, I was on my own. I don't know what is available today. Do
So
you know?
Maryvale had something called aftercare, and they helped me out several times of a jam. I was on my own as well. My I had some money because I was working. When I left, I got a job straight away. But my dumb self moved in with my boyfriend, the same guy, and he would take my money and spend it
Uh-oh.
on stupid stuff, and then we wouldn't have rent money. I left him pretty quick after that, but anyways, I was in a jam a couple times, and she helped me out with rent money, and
Mm,
she helped me out with tuition, because I did go to college for like a year after that, and at Rio Hondo, and that was a terrible experience. I won't go into that. Um, it was the professor that gave me a terrible experience, but I loved school. I loved to learn.
yeah.
But anyways,
You know what, Amber? We could absolutely do another podcast because there's a lot of side stories. It's not we don't just have to meet up once. Um, I would love to hear that one. But for now, what what would you tell a child who is currently in foster care now, California, Ohio? Just if somebody's listening right now, what would you tell them?
Yeah, so in Ohio, if you age out of the system, there is a program. It's called Bridges.
Oh.
Not all kids are interested in this. One of my foster children that did not want to be adopted, he left here, and he was not interested in this program because social workers have to keep track of you. You have to follow their
Mm,
program still, and
mhm.
if you're oppositional defiant,
Mhm.
you're not going to be interested in that. And that's the
Mhm.
tough thing is a lot of our kids, they do suffer from things like that. And so some of these programs are not conducive for kids, that have issues that they suffer with like that, because the system wants to track you, um,
Mhm.
like the system does. Because, what is a system, right?
It's almost like being on probation,
It's
right? It might feel to them like a punishment instead of a
and
help,
it I
maybe.
mean, doesn't it sound like one? I mean, once in the system, always in the system kind of thing.
Mhm.
Uh, it's never nothing's ever free. You don't get a
Mhm.
free lunch, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
even for example, in Ohio, you can still get Medicaid till you're 26. But if you want to get SNAP benefits, which is food stamps,
Mhm.
um, then you have to continue to be in school or meet other financial eligibility requirements. So everything's a hurdle. You have to fill out paperwork. You have to, continue to be part of their system in some way.
Mhm.
And I know it
Mhm.
doesn't sound like much. You have to fill out a paper. Well, you know what, though? When you are suffering from trauma brain, um, it is hard. It's
Yeah.
hard because
Yeah.
you may not own a phone anymore. You don't know what these kids are going through once they leave a foster home. You like I said, the one foster family didn't even want to give the kid the bike they paid for. So once they turn
Mhm.
18, are they going to be kicked out onto the street with no telephone, no clothes on their back? No, you don't know what they're going to be thrown out there with. So,
Mhm.
yes, there's the Bridges program, but you're going to be tracked.
Mhm.
Yes, there's Medicaid, and I think that you have to complete the application prior to leaving foster care. So, if your foster parent or your county worker doesn't help you do that, and you don't know to do that, then what happens then? I don't
Yeah.
know. So, and so, there are things, but there's no Sister Joanne Laviolette out there
Yes.
chasing you down to give you $200 in aftercare money because some kind, generous contributor has raised money to give them that money and they feel obligated to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's so funny because when you think about a program like Bridges or, like that, you think, "Oh, that's great." And even the name itself,
Hmm.
Bridges, it's like going from A to B,
Right.
right? From
I'm sure
childhood
that's the
to
intent, or it
independent
was the
adulthood.
intent.
But nothing's black and white, and unfortunately, there's no perfect program even today in the United States. Yeah.
No, it's like what's the old Reagan adage? Whenever you hear we're the government and we're here to help, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing. Be
Yes.
wary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very different here in Germany. We don't have this attitude towards the government, probably for different
Right.
reasons,
Yeah.
but exactly. But there is that distrust, that break of trust. Yeah,
Well, there's
exactly. So,
definitely a break of trust in the government currently here in America. I don't know if you've heard about this whole thing called the Epstein files or not, but that's a kind of a big deal.
oh, it's loud and clear across the
Yeah.
pond. Yes, everybody knows. Everybody, the whole world.
Yeah,
He is
I've
on the
been privy to
stage.
that since Pizzagate, but we've been keeping an eye over here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that wraps it up for today, Amber. We will definitely get together if you want again, if you would
Anytime.
like.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to me and to talk to everybody else that would be listening in the future.
Thank you
Your
so much
story.
for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode with Amber. If you have any positive comments or feedback or any information about bringing awareness to resources for current foster youth, or if you would like to share your own story, the comment section is open. As well, there is a link to a private Facebook group in the description. And this will help us build a supportive community together. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.